So I want to talk about when you started making money through this, and you were like, we're going ham on this. Let's go all in." Like, what
Yeah.
was the first time somebody was like, "Can we pay you?"
Mm. Uh, yeah, I'm happy to talk about this. It's like so when it was such a weird leap, right? So the
Yeah.
end of, or let's start it last year when my TikTok was doing nothing. I got a book deal with Oddbox,
Oh,
which
cool.
do wonky veg. It
Yeah.
was like super cool, and I was like, I worked with them for a bit, and then it was like this first big one. It was like I think they paid me like 15 grand, like just to write it, and then that was it. Like I didn't get any royalties or anything like this. And for the work, it wasn't very much money because my life was like full-time work. I'd finish work at like 5, get home, put my son to bed. 8 o'clock, I'd start writing, finish at like
Yeah.
3 a.m. And it was just horrendous,
It's a
like
lot of
so
work.
stressful.
Writing a
A
book is a
lot of
lot.
work. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's cool. It's a good jump into that world. And I was like, 15 grand. Jesus Christ. If I look back last year, I was making like nothing.
Yeah.
And then you'd get like the odd jobs. Like if you're making a reel and you have, I don't know, 20, 30K, like maybe like 500-600 quid a reel is
Yeah.
like good. And then, you'd get the odd one that was like 1-2K and you'd be like, oh God, I'm
Yeah.
going to be a star. And then, so I had a couple of those. And then the year was just like so stressful doing this book with Oddbox. And then my TikTok started growing as I was finishing the book.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, I think my first big paid job was with Jacobs. I did a campaign with
Yeah.
Jacobs, which was a fridge campaign. It was all about waste. And it started off this really weird email that was just like, "Hi, this is such and such from Jacobs, or the agency that look after Jacobs. We'd love to work on this campaign with you. We'd love this." And I've got an agent, and my agent knew the agency and who was working. So that job went from like a small job of doing like a recipe to then being part of the activation, to then being part of the bigger campaign, to then sort of like being front and center of the campaign. So that went from like, yeah, like I said, like 1-2 grand job to like a 15-16 grand job. And I was
Nice.
like, oh, and I was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you had to write a couple of recipes, but there wasn't much heavy lifting in terms
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
from me. So I was like, wow, like from doing a book where you got paid that, which was a lot of work, to then doing 3 days work really for that money. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay. And then yeah, as things grew, like Christmas was like
Yeah.
mental. Like because I was like, I wouldn't say I can't say this, but because I was like top of everyone's radar, like you're
Yeah.
saying, in
Yeah.
people's agencies around Christmas, they're all like, right, how do we spend this money? So I had like Sainsbury's that came to me, which was hilarious because they had this like 30-second rap that was done. And it was like was it like potatoes, parsnips, stuffing, and it was like all this kind of like weird rap. And they're like, we want you to do something funny. I was like, can I dress up as Elf? They're like, you do whatever you want. So I was like, yes. And so I just did this mad thing, and that was like a 10 grand job.
Sick.
And then like Ocado, and my agents were amazing because they were like, you can do Ocado now, but you need to post today because then there's a 1 week sort of non-compete. Then you can do Sainsbury's. And then Ocado came back, so it was like back to back
That's
to back to back.
amazing.
Yeah, and I think over like November, December, I probably earned more money than I'd earned in like 2 years, that being on a full-time wage.
It's fucking amazing, man. It's
And it was
so
so
cool.
weird. Yeah.
It's so cool
And
that
then
you can that you can do that now, right? Just
yeah.
generally, like, and realistically, like anyone can do it. Not anyone, but like if
No,
you,
100%. I say this to anyone.
yeah,
Anyone. Like TikTok is what like I said to you earlier, changed my life. If you commit solidly and you go, it's going to be really disheartening for maybe 6 months,
yeah,
all of a sudden one video could pop off and then people buy into you or what you're
yeah,
doing, and then you run off the back of that.
totally.
It's insane.
And also the social impact you can have. Like I've watched Joshua Weissman over the years, and like I've pretty much followed him for like 5-6 years, I think. And you're just like, you see from going from like not like 100K followers on Spotify on YouTube to like 7 million, and what
Yeah.
that can do for like somebody's life and also other people's lives around them. Is like you start employing people, you start selling books, which is obviously publishers, and then publishers employ people. It's like it's such a thing that we didn't grow up with anything like this. It was like you were either a celebrity, that you somehow became a celebrity, or you weren't. and you just worked
Yeah,
away
yeah.
a normal job and paid work 9 to 5, and that's it, really.
But that's it. I never, and this is, I used to work for Joe Wicks, the body coach,
Yeah.
like, I,
What
and
did you do for him?
I used to write his recipes.
No way.
Yeah, twat.
Isn't he really
Anyway,
fat now?
I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, he was just like, he had the metabolism of like a 2-year-old child. Like he
Yeah.
could just eat and train and he would get hench and
Yeah.
fluctuate and whatever. But he used to tell, like, I probably can't say loads of stuff about like how his business grew, but there
Yeah.
was someone else, not me, but there was someone else that gave him that,
Yeah.
little lift up. And he had a good team around him when I joined. So he had like 60,000 followers. But the thing that he says now, he was just like, just follow your dreams, just do what you need to do, yada yada yada. And like, I always saw it from the inside, and I was like, you prick, like, come on, mate, like it's not like that. And now seeing it from where I am, and having done the sort of like the really depressing yards, I sort of semi can sit back with him now and go, you know what, we're in a place of privilege to say, just keep going. Totally. Like something may happen, and it doesn't happen to everyone, but it could. And that's that little dangle of hope that you need to sort of sit on going, if you keep just chugging away, something may click. And for him, it was like right place, right time, right everything. And it's similar to me. Like TikTok started pushing +1 minute videos.
Yeah.
So that's why my videos were like 7-minute episodes that shouldn't work. TikTok was like, cool.
Here we go.
We'll push that.
Yeah,
we want people to stay on the platform. And they had 3 pillars, which I never remember, but it was entertain and educate and something else. But mine were doing all 3 of them at the same time, which I didn't even know. Yeah. And it was just like boom, 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 boom. And it was like, great. Everyone was there. It was doing a good thing. And it was just, the account just went. So
it's amazing. It's the same in music, to be fair. It's like, it's just luck, a lot of it, to start with. Yeah. But you also have to be like, that's also, by saying luck, is like that diminishes all your hard work. And you do have to work fucking hard, and you have to put the time and effort into that, because otherwise, I don't know anybody that's just put one video up and it's just blown up and then this game on. People have to put hundreds up, thousands up, until it eventually happens. And the people go on.
Go on.
And you see people like that. Like, I agree with what you're saying, the whole follow your dreams. And I was watching some like inspirational talk from like Gary V last night on my reels, and I'm like, the thing is, it's so easy to kind of sit back and be like, yeah, well, it's easy for you to say, right? Because you're at that point where you have a career. And like, I get it. It's like easy for me to say in music. It's like, I have a career in music, but people don't see the like graft behind the scenes that actually goes on, and how long it actually takes to get there.
Yeah. And if you saw me, like I said, like in the darkest points of like going, I was saying to my wife, like, I don't understand what I need to do different. On Instagram, I was doing everything that we're being told, do sub-minute 60 videos.
Yeah.
There were still me. I was just like doing everything. I was posting every day. I was using the hashtags. I was using trending music. I was doing nothing. And then I had friends that were doing the same and were blowing up. And I was like, this makes no sense. And it's so demoralizing, because it's not that I wanted to be famous. It's not that I wanted to have hundreds of thousands of followers. It's the fact that I wanted to make a living off of what I was doing. Totally. And I could see how people were making a living. I was just like, why can't I get to that point? And the fickle thing with social media is you need a following. If you don't have a following, then people don't care. You could be the best chef, the funniest person, whatever. But at the end of the day, social media is about numbers. And if you don't hit those numbers, then that's it. And what I was going to say is, like, on TikTok, is people chase that like viral, that tangible viral thing, and they do it for all the wrong reasons, right? So you get people that do these, and this is coming from me because I was doing it. You were looking at like the trending audios and the trending things, and you see it with every single social media company where their like intern is taking over the channel, and they do these like videos that they want to go viral, but that doesn't make people want to follow you. Your video could get 20 million views, and you see on so many accounts of people that have done something stupid, 20 million views, then all of their other views are like 100, 200, whatever, and they've got like 20,000 followers. It's like, you need to retain people, and it's like, if people are buying into you, then that's why they'll stay. But if they're buying in because you did a really funny version of a skit, it's like,
You're right. I was talking to one of my friends last night. She's TikToker kind of more in the like raunchy lifestyle of
Oh
TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but no, she's an OnlyFans girl, and she has a management company, and she was talking about how a management company literally just be like, oh, copy this girl, copy that girl, copy this girl. And she was like, it's just demoralizing. Like I'm not doing anything I want to do, and and the videos aren't performing well anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, of course they're not, because it's not you, and you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
being you. And the videos that have done well is you being you. And I think like that's the thing, is when you get management involved or agents or anything that kind of start telling you what to do, you pretty much might as well go work a 9 to 5 job, because you're doing exactly the same. Somebody else is your boss and telling you what to do, when you've got to remember you're the person that created the account. You're the person that actually put the graft in, and then they just came in and take 20% and
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
tell you what to do. It's fucking weird. It's really
It's
weird.
so mad. It's so mad. And I think it's like, I've got friends that have got million on TikTok, million on, or 2 million on TikTok, million on Instagram, like 700, 800K on YouTube. And they're not making money
Yeah.
just due to the fact that what their content is so, I'd say it's in the nicest way, but there's no personality to any of it.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot. It's cinematic. It's lovely. And people follow it for that reason. But I think the reason that my account has made me a lot of money is because because I can plug into any,
Exactly.
like any
Yeah.
brand. Like I did a video for Sony. You're a music man. Sony.
I think it's Sony.
Yeah, let's go Sony. So it was the release of Matilda the musical, and it was
Yeah.
Bruce's bog chocolate cake, right? So they wanted something that was funny and someone that could cook. I was like, hello. And
Here I
then
am.
Corn were like, I don't know if you saw the one that was the balls one. They were like, how many ball puns could you get into a video?
I didn't see this
'Cause
one. Is it on Instagram?
yeah, so it was like Swedish meatballs. They released the Swedish meatballs, and they were like, how many times can you get a ball pun into the video with it feeling natural? So I was like, perfect, and it's because I don't say this as I said, in the nicest way. It's because I'm not stiff. It's not because I've got an ego about me. I'm just like, I'll do anything that fits within this, like Canon campaigns, because they wanted someone talking about sustainability, no comedy involved. But then there's like all of these fears that you can fall into, where it's like, if you bucket yourself into creating hand shot, beautiful content, yes, you may get millions of followers and millions of views, but like, what are the brand partnerships that you can get from that? That's what I've kind of.
No, I
I've
agree.
seen.
I think also the like on YouTube, I think I think it's slightly different on YouTube, where you can do the ASMR kind of video shots where it's just you, and like you don't, because you can earn really good money from like just general AdSense there, and also like a lot more YouTube is like brought to you by Squarespace or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I think on the social media platforms, which I don't think YouTube really is a social media platform. I think it's more of a video platform. But with TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, even, it's like people want you.
Yeah.
And it has to just work. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is mad. And this is the thing where, like, which goes back to like my content length being completely wrong, is that I can create content that like really portrays me in like 3-4 minutes, because I want to explain parts of a dish and I don't want to just cut it down to 60 seconds. So I miss out on that algorithm of YouTube on the shorts, because it has to be 60 seconds. And then my content doesn't really transfer over onto Instagram because people just don't watch it as they do on TikTok. So I'm kind of like in this middle ground of like, my TikTok's cool, my Instagram sort of like doing stuff, but not a lot. My YouTube, I can't really grow because of the shorts I'm not posting, and I haven't got onto that long form style yet. So it's this weird like merge. And I posted a short clip the other day, and people were like, nah, take us back, we want the longer form content. And I'm like, I'm just trying to grow. And I'm like, okay, I got to please the people, but then my account's not growing. So